Well, for almost a century, that city, Kitchener, Ontario, was known as Berlin, Ontario. But then along came World War I, and the city fathers decided that Berlin was not the most patriotic of names. So in 1916, they held a plebiscite, and the name Berlin was officially changed to Kitchener. However, there is a local resident now who thinks the world has changed enough, and the time has come to change Kitchener's name back to Berlin.
And joining me now in Kitchener is Harry Currie. Hi, Harry.
Hi, Ralph. How are you?
I'm all right. You a little upset?
Well, I'm not upset. I'm a little chilly. It's a little below zero here.
Now, what's wrong with the name Kitchener? Is it such a bad name to have?
Well,
really?
Lord Kitchener was not the man everyone thought he was in 1916. The public had a picture of him as a hero and a great man and someone to be looked up to, and that was not the truth. But the British government allowed people to think that because it was convenient. He had done a couple of things which brought him to public attention, and because he had gone down to Khartoum and managed to avenge the death of General Gordon, the hero's mantle was changed to Lord Kitchener. And in truth, he was a very self-seeking, very selfish, aloof individual who used the British Army's system to further his own ends.
Now, most people know that Kitchener used to be called Berlin, right? I mean, that's established.
Until 1916.
And that's the name you want to go back to, right?
Well, it's a name I'm suggesting because the heritage of the city has been German since its first settlement in 1800. And even today, the largest ethnic group, if you take the British group and split it into its English, Irish, and Scottish components, and I know some of the Irish won't like that, but that's what they've done here. If you separate it into the various components, you'll find that the German component is still the largest single ethnic group represented in the city.
Now, there was a plebiscite in 1916 where they changed the name to Kitchener.
1916.
But you say that was bogus, nonsense, that it did not represent the view of the people at the time, that it was all trumped up.
No, it didn't. Only 7% of the electorate at the time voted for the name Kitchener. Most of the people, and especially those of German descent, didn't even show up to vote in the plebiscite because they didn't believe in it. And there were some Canadian troops stationed here who were put up to voting in the election, in the plebiscite, in order to try to rig the vote.
All right. I mean, this sounds very convincing, but have you managed to convince anyone else in Kitchener that they should go along with something like this?
Well, the number of telephone calls that I've had personally, it's been remarkable. And I would say that 75% are interested in changing the name. Of the 75% interested in changing the name, I would say fully half are interested in going back to the name of Berlin.
But how many phone calls is it really? I mean, is this like 1,000
no.
or 20?
I'm sitting at about 40, 45 phone calls right now, keeping track. And that is a remarkable number of personal phone calls when you consider the number of people who haven't called or are probably thinking this way. Most people have to find me and seek me out. It's not as though I've tried to publicize myself.
But look, I was told they changed the name from Berlin because of anti-German feelings, World War I, World War II. Do you think you're going to open up any old wounds if you go back to the name Berlin at a time like this? I mean, is it okay now?
Of course. In fact, I've had one or two calls which have been almost scary in the implication that there is a lot of anti-German feeling here. And while there have only been, I think, 2 or 3 of those, it still makes you realize that there is a certain background here that you certainly don't want to get into.
It's going to cost a lot of money,
but those
too.
are in the minority.
Is it? I mean, it's going to cost money, no?
But I had a talk with the city clerk about this, and if it were included in a regular municipal election, the cost would only be about $1,000 to add it to a regular election, say the 1994 elections. And if we
Well, what about
careful,
all the stationery and all the buildings and all that stuff? Won't that cost? I mean, you have to change all that,
well,
right?
do it by attrition. As things needed to be replaced, then replace them with the new name. It would be foolish in this this time of economic restraint to rush into something and try to do it overnight.
What made you decide you wanted to do this? I mean, you could have had it as an idea and just gone on with your life. Why bother going this far?
And so there are several reasons. In 1985, I was in Germany, and in a conversation with the mayor of West Berlin, he asked me pointedly why the city had changed its name, and I couldn't really answer him. So I did a little research. A couple of years later, I was in Ireland, and I thought it would be interesting to say to the Irish, I'm from Kitchener, and Lord Kitchener was born a few miles from here, thinking that they would be very receptive to this. I got a totally alienated response. The Irish thought nothing of Lord Kitchener or his family. In fact, they resented him. I began to think there must be something in this. So I did some more research.
It sounds like they're coming to get you right now, Harry.
They're coming to take me away.
I mean, how far can you go with this? I mean, do you think you're going to get a city council vote? Is it going to go that far?
It wouldn't surprise me with the number of people who have become interested that it is brought up in council. And if it is brought up in council and a careful study is done, and if it does go to a plebiscite in 1994, then it wouldn't surprise me if the name were voted on to be changed.
But then Southern Ontario would have that constellation of European cities again. I mean, it would be complete. You'd have London, Paris, Berlin. That'd be nice, I guess.
And why not?
Well, why not? It sounds like you've got something going here.
Well, it's been fascinating, and the attention that the media has given it across the country has been surprising. I thought it perhaps might have a ripple of interest locally, but with all of the things that have happened from coast to coast, and this is one of them, it's shown me that there is a great deal of interest right across the country in what is happening here in Kitchener, Berlin, wherever we are.
No, Kitchener/Berlin, all right? Well, keep us posted, will you?
We will.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Still to come, an optimistic story about the economy and coping with January flab.
Why are you looking at me?
Taking the pinch out of playing hockey when we come back.